Beneath the bridge of broken dreams. Rain pattered against cobblestone streets, setting the city in a constant rhythm of droplets. Pedestrians scurried, trying to avoid getting soaked, their footsteps echoing against the narrow alleyways. However, amidst the hustle and bustle, there was one spot that remained silent and untouched, a bridge known by locals as the Bridge of Broken Dreams. It was said that the bridge was an architectural masterpiece in its heyday, with ivory columns and marble railings, reflecting grandeur and splendor. But over time it had deteriorated, now standing as a mere shadow of its former self, with moss-covered stones and vines wrapping around it. Legend had it that the bridge was a place where people would come to leave behind their unfulfilled dreams and aspirations, hoping that one day, they might return to reclaim them. Beneath the bridge, a vast, serene river flowed. Every so often, a paper boat would float downstream, each bearing the silent hopes and dreams of its sender. One such evening, as the rain began to pour, a young woman named Alara found herself beneath the bridge. She had heard the tales, and though skeptical, she had a dream she wished to set free. With trembling hands, she scribbled her wish on a piece of paper, folded it into a boat, and let it drift into the river's embrace. As she watched the boat disappear into the distance, she felt a gentle tap on her shoulder. Startled, she turned around to find an elderly man, his hair white as snow, eyes sparkling with a certain wisdom. "Hopeful or heartbroken?" he asked, gesturing toward the river. "A bit of both," she admitted. "It's hard to keep holding on to a dream that seems so out of reach." The old man nodded. "Many come here, seeking solace, hoping that by leaving their dreams here, they might find peace. But the true magic of this bridge isn't in letting go, it's in finding the strength to chase after them." Alara looked puzzled. "But isn't that the whole point of this place? To leave behind what burdens our hearts?" He chuckled softly. "Look closely at the river. What do you see?" Squinting, Alara noticed something she hadn't before. Each paper boat, instead of drifting away, was moving against the current, making its way back towards the source. "The river doesn't take your dreams away," the old man explained. "It challenges them, tests their resolve. Those dreams that withstand the journey are the ones truly worth pursuing." Alara's eyes widened with realization. "So, by setting my dream free, I'm not giving up on it?" The man nodded. "You're giving it a chance to prove its worth to you. If it comes back, it's a sign that you should never let it go." Feeling a renewed sense of hope, Alara smiled. "Thank you for showing me the true magic of this place." The elderly man tipped his hat. "Remember, young one, dreams are resilient. They have a way of finding their path, even against the strongest currents." With that, he slowly walked away, leaving Alara with a heart full of hope and determination. The Bridge of Broken Dreams, while shrouded in myth, was not a place of endings, but of beginnings. It was a testament that dreams, no matter how distant or unattainable they might seem, always find their way back to those who believe in them. Chronicles of the Crystal Chandelier. Deep within the heart of a grand mansion, in the center of the ballroom, hung an exquisite crystal chandelier. Each shard was meticulously crafted, shimmering in iridescent hues under the soft lighting. To any outsider, it was just a masterpiece of artistry, but for those who knew, it was a keeper of countless tales. Every evening, as the mansion's residents would retire for the night, the chandelier would come alive, swaying gently, making soft, melodic noises, like whispers in the wind. And if one listened closely, they could hear the stories it held. In a corner of the room, a plush armchair would often bear witness to these tales. It knew of the love stories the chandelier narrated, tales of couples who had danced under its light, lost in each other's eyes. It knew of the tales of heartbreak, of stolen glances, and unsaid words. One particular night, as a storm raged outside, the chandelier began to recount a tale different from the ones before. It spoke of a young maiden, Clara, who had visited the mansion many decades ago. Clara was unlike anyone the mansion had seen. With a passion for exploration and a curious heart, she would often wander the mansion's many rooms, seeking stories and secrets. The chandelier remembered the day she stood beneath it, gazing up in wonder. She had whispered, "Tell me your story." The chandelier had hesitated at first. No one had ever asked it for its own story. But seeing the genuine curiosity in Clara's eyes, it began. It spoke of its creation, in the hands of a master craftsman who poured his soul into each crystal. It spoke of the countless events it had witnessed, the myriad emotions it had felt through the people it had seen. But most importantly, it spoke of its desire to be free, to not just witness stories, but to be a part of one. Clara had listened, spellbound. When the tale ended, she had made a promise. One day, she had said, "I'll show you the world. I'll make you a part of a story that's uniquely yours." Years turned to decades, and the promise became a distant memory. Yet, the chandelier waited, hoping against hope. Then, on one fateful day, a crew of workers arrived at the mansion, carefully taking down the chandelier. It was being moved to a new location. The new home was different. It was an open courtyard in the center of a bustling town square. As the chandelier was hoisted up, it could see the vast expanse of the sky, feel the gentle touch of the breeze, and hear the cacophony of life around it. Every evening, people would gather under it, sharing tales, dancing, or simply lying down, gazing at its beauty. And every night, the chandelier would share a story of its own, its crystals shimmering more brightly than ever. Years later, an old woman visited the square, sitting down beneath the chandelier. She looked up, her eyes filled with tears. "I kept my promise," she whispered. The chandelier recognized those eyes. It was Clara. As they shared a silent moment, the chandelier realized it was now a part of countless stories, all thanks to a promise made long ago. And as it shimmered that night, it wasn't just recounting tales of the past, but creating new ones, under the vast canvas of the starlit sky.